Duke saw the writing on the wall that his kids would inherit this place and they would sell it off to whoever wanted to buy it, and that in that time would have been developers. That concerned him, and so he really took it upon himself to look for a place that could protect this landscape.
I had heard that the Sedgwicks were going to leave their ranch to the university, which seemed like a great thing to me. When Duke died, he thought that his wife would give her part to the university when she died, and that didn't really happen. And so when that was not the case, then there was some urgency to make sure that the whole ranch did go to the university.
So Judy Stapelmann really took leadership roles in fundraising for the Santa Barbara Land Trust to be able to buy out the family and donate this portion of the land back to the university that reunited these two parcels and made it a natural reserve.
It should complete this legacy because although it was not the majority of the acreage, it was the majority of the infrastructure and the important parts of the ranch. And so it was really important at that point to raise money to purchase this and to get it into the hands of the university so it could be part of the reserve system.
I think about what might have happened to this land if Judy and her colleagues hadn't gotten involved and worked really hard to save this place. And my guess is that this would be one of many subdivided little ranchettes. It certainly wouldn't be a site that connects students with learning on the land. The water conservation wouldn't be happening, so the oak trees would probably be in a lot worse state of affairs than they are in this drought. The wildlife resources certainly wouldn't be here like they are.
I grew up partially in the city of Los Angeles, but I always figure the most formative part of my childhood was life on the farm in the Ozarks. It was a very rural situation, and I think it's influenced my life since then because I value open spaces. And that's where I developed my love of the outdoors, of horses, of animals, of agriculture, of the rural lifestyle. The Sedgwick was really the first time that I realized that by contributing to the preservation of open space, that I could be making a difference in this way, and that I could be using resources that I have to make a difference in saving open space. I think the Sedgwick was the beginning. My major at UCSB was field biology, so I took field classes. That's what I did. And indeed, I got to visit lots of good places on field trips.
It's an incredibly important place for research for many reasons. There's such a huge variety of research projects that can be done here because it's such a big piece of property. There's a lot of different kinds of habitat. It's protected from general public access, although there are public hike days and things. It's really nice to be able to leave pieces of equipment out here and not have to worry about them disappearing. This is such a beautiful and special place, and to know that it was set aside solely for research and education was great. I can bring my classes here, which I love to do. It's really beautiful. I feel lucky and incredibly grateful to those who worked to make this happen.
There's a thought that large landowners can take a land out of agriculture, grazing, overgrazing, or farming, and set it aside as being a conservation center, and that it will just revert back to nature. And that's the farthest thing that happens. In ecology, something will take over, but generally it's weeds and non-native plants and non-native animals. So what's been really fun about working with Judy is she understands the need to get out and take care of the land and do land-based projects that try and restore this place to being a healthy ecosystem that can support research.
We need always more funding for special projects, for the maintenance, for the ongoing upkeep of the fences, the infrastructure, and the ability to bring young people education sources and so forth. My husband and I have been involved for some years in establishing an endowment that's specifically for the Sedgwick so that it can provide just ongoing funds that are in addition to just a basic salary for a couple of staff members. One of the real needs was for the director to have a personal residence. So we were able at that time to provide her with a residence.
By supporting the reserve staff, she has helped make our jobs easier. It was, when I first came out here to start working, was before the endowment was established. There was much less infrastructure than there is today. The reserve stewards or the assistants on the reserve were only part-time. It was hard to get assistance if you needed it. It was just a much harder place to work. It's gotten so nice. It's much easier to conduct research here now.
The culmination of Judy's gifts really is a completion of Duke's will. And it was really important to Duke Sedgwick that this land be conserved, set aside, certainly used by the university, but it was important to him to have a conjunction of land and learning. And setting something aside is not enough. Judy's enabled us to really make this a viable research center to connect students and educators and research with the land itself.
I'm hoping that the Sedgwick will continue to provide opportunities for other people to get out in nature in the way that I did in all my life, so that that open space will be there for future generations.